making things informative and increasing your impact. That's sort of the idea, is you don't want it to get in the way, you want it to help get your point across. And that's the problem with some of these busy slides that we create, is they really get in the way of the message. You know, I'm trying to make these relatively simple, for example, so you can glance up there, you see a couple bullets, but then you look back at me and keep talking. If I had a bunch of text and pictures and stuff up there, it might be interesting, but it might also take away from my message, especially when I'm trying to be simple and clear. So again, what is our purpose? Our purpose is really about PowerPoint guidelines today, and that's sort of what we're focusing on. There's 5 guidelines, and I'll walk you through just a quick overview there, and then I'll go into each one in detail. And if you want to follow along, we are on page 10. Font, a whole set of guidelines for that. Color itself, layout, comprehension, and charts, graphics, other tables, that kind of thing. And this includes images as well. I'm sort of reading off the slides right now, but I just want to get it out there. Those are the 5 things we'll be talking about. Now for font, it gives in depth pretty deeply as well. So as a quick overview, I'll just show you a quick slide and then we'll just go into it in detail. There's 4 parts of fonts that we'll talk about. And so it's just style, size, case, and spacing. And so you can kind of imagine what this would all be, but we'll just show some examples. Now they've done some research mainly on visual displays, and what they find is that a simple rule is used to Tahoma. I mean, it's just one of the best ones that seem to be clear, simple, it's easy to read, it's not embellished with a bunch of stuff, and it's what you call a sans serif font. It doesn't have the little feet on it. There are others that are pretty good, but you want to keep them short. And you want to, again, it's a sans serif that you want to use. The nice thing about it too, it's very legible and it's easy to read. There are other examples you can use. I'm sure you have your favorites, something like Arial or Verdana. They look very similar to me. After a while, they all sort of kind of merge together. If you hold them next to each other, there's a little difference. But I stick with Tahoma recently, just mainly since I read this article.
And you use Tahoma or Arial or Verdana for both the header and the...
That's generally that they recommend you use the same font throughout, except in the case of something like a long piece of text. And so Times New Roman, just like a newspaper, is really nice because it has a little feet, and research shows it's easier to read along and helps the reader along as well. That's one reason newspapers use it. Sans serif fonts are relatively easy to read, but the research shows that Times New Roman, when they compare fonts, is the easiest to read for long text. So that's the case where you can see here I mixed it. I have Tahoma on the top, and then of course Times New Roman for this long quote. So this is a case where I would actually walk this through with my audience and say, Times New Roman is a serif font with little feet. It is better for long lines of text to help readers follow along. Instead of me trying to talk over that while you're trying to read it, I would just get them to read it along with you. It's not real long in this case, but it's long enough where you may not want to bulletize it. Any questions? There we go.
I know that one professor in our culture insists that Helvetica is the best.
Helvetica is pretty good, too. I think,
My husband loves Helvetica.
yeah. I think, again, Frank Durso did this all based on what the research shows, and there has been research done where reading speed and legibility has been compared across fonts. So. The next one is font case, and there's lots of little parts to this, but the first one is make sure you use sentence case for your bullets. And again, in this case, I'm reading out loud from the screen here. Sentence case just helps you read along. That means use a capital for the first word, and then write it as if it's a sentence. Now, these are actually pretty long bullets. I mean, normally you wouldn't do very long, but these are not bad, especially when you don't have too much on the text on the screen at once.
You consider that a long bullet? Okay.
Maybe. The other thing about using a sentence as text is that the research shows it kind of aids in knowing which way to go with the paragraph. So it helps your eye move that way. This is what the research shows. Now, I have scheduled a break, and we're kind of breezing through this, but we're pretty much right on schedule. So it's up to you guys. We've only been here half an hour. Want to take a quick 2-minute break?
Yeah.
Get a drink of water? I think I would too. Something. So your last question was about,
That's a long slide,
oh, not really, but
or not a long slide.
it depends on your
but-
audience. Again, it depends on your audience. If you're doing a technical paper,
Mhm.
I think that would be reasonable. You know, obviously here, it's not too long.
Some people, and I assume that you're going to talk about this too, some people want to get a full sentence or a full concept onto the slide
Yeah.
versus just getting